Welcome to another shit show with Shelly. Yep, that's me. Okay, so the last shit show I did, just in case if you didn't watch that one and you're just watching this one for the first time, I'm going to give you a little bit of a recap. So this whole thing is based around two guys that were sitting outside drinking beer where one of them shot a gun into the ground. The neighbor called the cops, called 911. The cops come out. There's a big shit show. Everything goes down and they all end up at the police station. There was other guys and ladies in the house, but they don't really matter because they were released. So we're down to just Richard and Larry. These are the only two left in interrogation room. So what I'm doing is taking this interrogation that lasted 7 hours long, and I am ripping it to shit because it is shit. This is one of the biggest shit show interrogations you will ever see. So Richard was the first one I did, where he admits to being a felon, and the cops choose to ignore that. And throughout the whole interrogation, they never admit or never hold Richard accountable for being a felon, even though Richard admits to firing the gun 3 times into the ground. He admits to that, lies about everything. From the beginning, he lies. And Richard is just a piece of shit. And he blames it all on Larry. This guy, this poor dude, basically is just renting a room from this guy. Wrong place, wrong time. And so now this is going to be Larry's, we're going to just dive right into it with Larry.
Cause you're a convicted felon, right?
No.
You're not a convicted felon?
No.
Okay.
Right away, he says straight up, I am not a convicted felon. He's like, you're not a convicted felon? Like, they're shocked. You're not a convicted felon? Yeah, what the fuck ever. No, I'm not a convicted felon.
I'm gonna tell you a little bit.
And as far as I know, the first round that went off, he shot it in the ground.
Who?
Richard.
Okay. Were you outside with Richard?
I was at the little, table we have outside. I was on the right side, he was on the left, and he shot right in the ground, just like that.
Okay.
And I was like, it rang my ears so bad that it was like, this is fucking nuts, man. I went in the house, and 2 more rounds went off.
Right off the bat, he tells this story that he was outside, Richard put a round into the ground, and then it was so loud, and remember this because this is good, he makes a note and mentions that his ear rang, that it was so loud, and he goes in, grabs a beer, comes back out, and then Richard puts 2 more rounds into the ground. He straight up tells the cop right here that Richard is the one that fired a real gun into the ground.
And who's holding the gun?
Richard. I don't have no prints on the gun. I never touched that gun.
Now, if he says, he asks him, and who was holding the gun? Well, Larry just told him that Richard was firing into the ground. So, duh, obviously, Richard was handling the gun.
Explain to me. Tell me your side of the story, and tell me your side. What were you doing? You were outside and you were with Richard. He initially shoots the gun into the ground.
Yeah, I was having a beer, and then he shot it in the ground. That was so loud, man. It made my ear bleed like it hurt bad. And I went in to get a beer, and he shot it twice, 2 more times.
This is not the same clip played twice. This is 2 different clips, 2 different times of the interrogation. And you'll find that Larry is always consistent with his story. This is the second time that Mr. Oinky Doink decides to go at him again. Tell me your story again. Okay. Tells the same story, consistent with the story. One in the ground, inside, gets a beer, comes out, 2 more.
And then he's on the ground trying to look for the shell casing.
I don't know about that. I came in the house and sat on the couch, and started watching TV.
The reason the cop mentions this is because the 911 caller actually had said that he saw Richard scrounging around in the bushes looking for shell casings. And so he's kind of trying to get Larry, but now that just kind of verifies that Larry did, he got his beer, heard 2 more shots, went outside and had enough of it.
Do you know what kind of weapon that was that he shot initially?
The silver gun. It's kind of big. Looked like a 45.
Looked like a 45?
With like some laser thing underneath it.
So he asks about the gun. Asks him, can you identify the gun, right? What is he shooting? And you can tell watching it with Larry's, the way he responds to it is, I don't think he really knows. He just says it's a silver gun and it's a 45. And, so he's trying to get, I think, Larry to identify the gun as if it's his gun. And he would know all about this gun.
I didn't touch it. I didn't want to touch it. I didn't want to handle it. And I couldn't believe he was firing it off. I said, no. Unbelievable, man. This is crazy.
Just so you know, so you don't think I'm just making shit up.
I'm
fishing.
fucking terrified, man.
All right, listen. Look, I didn't just write this down. What does it say there? Stainless steel.
Stainless steel, okay. 9mm Beretta.
Yep. That sound like the gun that we're talking about?
It was pretty big for a pistol.
So the whole gun thing, I think, is good here. He's pulling out this, he shows him a piece of paper with what the gun is, the description of it. And he's like, I ain't, fucking around with you. This is a real deal. Here's what it is. It's like Larry describes the gun, and then he shows him this piece of paper like, see, you knew what that gun was. Yeah?
Well, to me, it sounded like Larry was guessing.
He was guessing.
He said, I don't know, maybe 45.
Right, and he's wrong, because it's a 9mm.
Right.
So then Larry's like, okay, yeah, okay. Well, does that sound like the gun? Does that sound like the gun you were shooting? Or he was shooting? Does that sound like the right gun? And he's like, well, it was big. So right away I'm kind of thinking Larry here, he's not really familiar with guns. It doesn't sound like it, right?
Yeah.
And he makes it very clear that he never handled it. That's another thing he keeps stating is, I never touched the gun. My prints aren't going to be on that gun. I never handled the gun. I never touched the gun.
He shot into the ground. I watched him do it.
Well, you told me a second ago you were inside.
He popped a cap off once. The first cap he popped off was right under the chair. And then I went inside to get a beer, and then as I was proceeding to walk through the kitchen to the outdoor, all of a sudden, two more caps go off.
What did you do with the gun?
So,
What did he do with the gun afterwards?
I have no idea. I put it in the case and went and put it in his room.
So he tells his story again, the same way, same thing. One in the ground, went in, heard two more, and then the cop in the background who you're not seeing, who you will see in other shit shows, and this one isn't even near as shitty as it's going to get. He in the background says, where did he put the gun? Where did he put the gun? Like Larry knows where he put the gun. He don't know where he put the gun.
You look pretty distinct, dude.
So I'm truthful.
You look pretty distinct. I mean, your hair, your hair and stuff. You're not easily mistaken for the regular guy down the street, dude.
This is classic profiling. Classic fucking profiling to me. Because Larry does look different than the other guys in the home, than Richard. Richard with dark hair. The thing that's fucked up about it is that 911 caller identified Richard. Never identified Larry. Larry was never, ever identified on the 911 call, anything. So it's like, you look distinct, dude. Well, I'm truthful. And he is being truthful, but now he's trying to pin it on the way he looks, right?
Well, I think what he's trying to do is set him apart from the rest of the people that were there based on his appearance. So that means that any eyewitnesses, their account will be accurate because he doesn't look like everybody else. They couldn't make a mistake in choosing someone else because this guy's completely different. He's very obvious. He looks different. And everybody's going to pick him out of the bunch because he looks different.
Right, with eyewitnesses. Well, we already know Fernando, the one that called 911, was an eyewitness to Richard firing the gun. So he's never been described. So now it's just like, this is, I think, a start of a beatdown a little bit.
Well, it's the beginning of the build to shift the blame from Richard, who is covered by his relatives in the sheriff's department, to Larry, which turns out to be a scapegoat.
Okay, everything else we already know.
Yeah, Richard did it accidentally, shoot into the ground.
Initially.
And now he's saying everything else we already know. What do they know? Everything else they already know. Yeah, Richard shot it in the ground accidentally. That's Larry's simple thinking. He shot it in the ground accidentally. Initially. Larry doesn't know Richard is a convicted felon. So he doesn't think Richard did anything wrong. He thinks that he accidentally, or didn't even accidentally, was just dicking around, and he shot it in the ground. He shot it in the ground just dicking around. So in his mind right here is, yeah, you just shot it in the ground. What is the problem? What is the big deal? It's a misdemeanor, right?
What you need to do, what you need to do is convince me that this was an accident and you weren't trying to kill a cop. That's what you need to do. Yeah, that's the fourth round that's there. I'm not gonna make shit up. There's 4 rounds there, bro. All your roommates know it. Richard knows it. The independent witnesses know it. And there's a fucking deputy watching you.
Not
He's
only
watching
that-
you from down the street.
So here he's saying, now he's bringing up the 4th shot. And nobody knew about the 4th shot. I mean, Richard didn't know until later. And it never even was a 4th shot. So now Larry's like, no, there's only 3 shots. No, there was a 4th shot. And the 4th shot is exactly what they want to pin on Larry. They want to put the 4th shot on Larry. Right?
Yep.
And how are they, what are they doing to him now mentally? I mean, it's slowly, I mean, they're really bringing him down into everybody is accusing him. They just said it. Everyone in the house put it on him. The eyewitness put it on him. And now we have a deputy, apparently, that is an eyewitness. An eyewitness to this, which you're going to want to keep watching when I get into the other ones because it's all going to come out. But now they're saying there's an eyewitness, a cop, a pig, is an eye fucking witness to Larry taking the 4th shot.
The shell casings match the bullets that are inside of the gun. We're going to show that the extraction marks that it came from that gun match that of the shell casings that we found on scene.
Now that makes sense, right? We're going to show. Okay, what does that have to fucking do with anything? I mean, how does that put that on Larry? Anybody could have shot the gun, and so we're going to match the shell casings to what was extracted from the gun. Big fucking deal. Big deal.
Well, if there was 4 casings, they would have the same marks on them being ejected from that pistol. But there isn't 4 casings. There was only 3 rounds that were fired. Now where they're going to come up with a 4th casing to compare to the rest of the casings, they're making up their shit.
They're making up their shit, which is lying. And this is all lies. I mean, they're lying to Larry, telling him all these people turned against him.
It's legal for the cops to lie in interrogation.
It doesn't make it right. It's not right. It's not right. They want the truth, but yet they can fucking lie. It's bullshit. And who gives a fuck how many goddamn, if it matches the gun? Obviously, it's going to match the fucking gun. You know, I think what they're doing...
Can't match the gun because there wasn't a 4th one.
Not the 4th one. Yeah, because it's not going to match it.
So you can match up the other 3, but you can't match up the 4th one because it doesn't exist.
Right. So what they're doing, though, is making him feel like, oh, this, guy, this oink here, oh, God, this one, I hate that fuck. But he's the bully cop. And he's like, all knowledgeable. And we're going to match those up. And then Larry, because he's so not gun knowledgeable, he's probably thinking, wow, that's big news, right? I don't know.
And we're going to put all of that together. So that means that we've got that 1 round that deputy witnessed you pull the trigger on.
That's heavy right there. I mean, that is pretty fucked up. So we got that 1 round that the deputy witnessed him pull the trigger on. Okay.
We know you did it. You know you did it.
And everyone in the house says that too?
What do you think? Do I really have to answer that question?
That fucking pisses me off right there. It's just bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. It's like everybody in the house is saying that about me. What do you think?
Well, he should have never said that to the detective, because now the detective is going, oh, hey, there's a good idea. We could say that everybody in the house is against him.
They're already saying it.
Well, sure, but now, you know, I mean, that's what they're building.
Yeah, they're building it. You know, so, and what do you think? And then that one bullet. I'm telling you, shit show from hell. I mean, it's fucked up. It's fucked up the cops are allowed to lie. And this poor man feels like the whole world is against him, and he didn't even do anything but drink a couple beers and go sit on the TV and watch, go sit on the couch and watch TV, and he's clueless to what their plan is and what they're doing. I said in the first show, and I'll say it again, you ever find yourself in this position, don't even talk to the fucking pigs. Don't even talk to them. Get an attorney, which no matter what, you're going to end up with a public pretender, which sucks because they suck, but at least it's a start, you know, but never talk to them. Just shut the fuck up, say nothing. Shit show number 3. I don't want to, they're kind of going to be in order, but I'm trying not to do that because the next one I'm going to work on is going to be on the monitoring and the charges. And this one is truly my favorite one. I'm excited to do the next one. Monitoring and the charges that the game gets played with these cops. And it's sickening, really. You know, I'm trying to make light of it, but in truth, it's really pretty fucked up. So thanks for watching the shit show, and we'll see ya on the next one.